Harry Reid, when he was back in 2005, said the president nominates, but the Senate doesn't have to vote. Chuck Schumer, who will be the next Democratic leader, said in 2007 they wouldn't confirm, the Democrats were in the majority in the Senate, they wouldn't confirm a Bush appointment to the Supreme Court if one occurred within 18 months of a presidential election. So all we're doing, Chris, is following a long-standing tradition of not filling vacancies on the Supreme Court in the middle of a presidential election year.
I am going to ask Mr. McDonough about the Biden rule in a moment, but frankly, isn't there a fair amount of hypocrisy on both sides here? Right now, President Obama is calling for an up or down vote on his nominee. You oppose that, but back in 2005, when George W. Bush was president, you made exactly the same argument that Barack Obama is making now. Take a look, sir.
In a democracy, an up or down vote should be given to a president's judicial nominees. It's complicated, it's simple, it's fair. It worked for 229 years, and it has served us well.
Senator, if an up or down vote for a judicial nominee is simple, fair, and a principle that has served us for 229 years, I guess now it's over 230 years, if that's true then, is it still true?
Yeah, what we're talking about apples and oranges. That comment was not in connection with the Supreme Court vacancy. What we're talking about here, here's the factual situation.
But it's still a judicial nominee,
the Supreme Court, no, they're not the same. The Supreme Court is very different from the other courts. What we're talking about here is a Supreme Court vacancy in the middle of a presidential election year made by a lame duck president who is on the way out the door, and the impact that will have on this court for the next quarter of a century. That is the issue before us right now.
Some of your Republican colleagues are already suggesting that if your side, if the GOP loses the election in November, that perhaps they would consider Judge Garland in a lame duck session because, in fact, he might be more moderate than, let's say, Hillary Clinton's nominee would be. Here is Republican Senator Jeff Flake.
I think Republicans are fully justified in doing what we're doing. Waiting. But if we happen to lose the election, then I think we ought to push him through quickly if we can. Senator, is Jeff Flake wrong?
Yeah, I think so. Look, Barack Obama calling this judge a moderate doesn't make him a moderate. This judge would move the court dramatically to the left. He's enthusiastically supported by MoveOn.org. I don't think they'd be signing up and be also all this enthusiastic about a liberal judge. Look, the principle is the same, whether it's before the election or after the election. The principle is the American people are their next president, and their next president should pick this Supreme Court.